Hello, you're listening to Hibs Talk. I'm here with Stu, and we are here with breaking news that Shaun Maloney has been sacked. We just did the math. After 120 days in charge, appointed 21st of December 2021 on the 20th of December, 2021, on the 19th of April 2022, he has been sacked by Hibs. I'll get the statement here in a second. So, Stuart, what's your kind of instant reactions to it?
General disbelief. I don't know if it's because we've obviously had decades of different ownership, manager, things like that. Ron Gordon clearly isn't one for hanging around. Certainly from the game on Saturday, result we won't relay. There seemed to be a lot more positivity about it. Players coming out supporting him, saying that, yeah, we are back in Shaun, we do know what's happening. But our managers, owners have spoken. I've said this before in the pods. We know they're American. We know American owners don't hang around if something's not working. Is 19 games in charge enough to decipher this? Okay, the record is 6 wins, 6 draws, 7 losses. 31.6 win percentage, but genuinely surprised. But they must have been looking down at. We've heard rumours going around that there is a fraught relationship between the Gordons, shall we say, both of them, and Maloney. And they must have just said, we don't believe in this guy, we don't trust him, we're not giving him a big summer window, we want him gone now.
Yeah, the club, Hibernian FC, can confirm that Shaun Maloney has departed the club as first-team manager. Gary Caldwell, Zudis and Dugan have also left with immediate effect. Executive Chairman Ron J. Gordon commented, "Our hope in appointing Shaun Maloney as a young, highly regarded coach was that he would help take the club forward, but ultimately this didn't work. We thank Shaun and his coaching staff for all their hard work and efforts and wish them well and the best for the future. David Gray will take charge for the first team as caretaker manager for the remainder of the 2021-2022 campaign and will be supported by Eddie May and John Bush. No further comment will be made at this time." Myself and Papa Stu recorded a podcast last night. We touched on Maloney. I kind of made the point, I said I don't see him going, but at the same time, I didn't see Jack Ross going. And I sort of compared.
Finger on the pulse there, Gav.
Yeah, and I said, I think I've either said this in person to somebody or I might have said it on the podcast last night. My brain's a bit frizzled with this news. I said he might be a bit, this is Ron Gordon, might be a bit of an Abramovich character. And that's turned out to be the case. So he doesn't stick around. I think it's very harsh. I thought the Jack Ross sacking was harsh. I thought this is even harsher. Yes, 1 win in 13 in the league, we keep on going on about, is bad, but when we need a striker, like again we said this in the pod last night, you need a striker in the summer window. You don't sign one, and then Doidge and Nisbet get injured. The other player that is a winger that can play up front is Martin Boyle, our best player. You sell him and don't replace him. Replace him with a very talented but hot and cold 19-year-old and expect results. Like, it's crazy. Mueller hasn't hit the ground running like we'd hoped. That's not Maloney's fault. Doidge, out injured. Nisbet, a long-term injury. Like, all these things he's had no attacking force and expected to create and score goals.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. And there's definitely an argument for me that the defence has been shored up a lot more for us as well. And also, Maloney, how many of the winter window signings were actually his? I think that's a big question as well.
Henderson, that's probably about it.
Yeah, from kind of guys he's maybe worked with, or maybe we say Rocky as well. Less said about that, the better.
True.
But yeah, I've said on the pod before, you and I were talking about at the game on Saturday. I think I was honestly going to be giving them till September, October to see what we were going to be doing, what can we see. But management spoken, they clearly didn't have any faith in him for a big window, and it's now just a bigger question of who's next. Getting somebody in, will we get somebody in? Obviously, the statement is Sir David's going to be taking over for the impending games, but we want somebody in before all the players bugger off on their summer holidays. Yeah. So then he can assess the squad, see what he's wanting to bring in, see what the recruitment team have also been looking at, Are we bringing in a first-team coach, or are we bringing in an actual manager? How much say do these managers have on the signing policy, or are they just kind of dumped upon, oh yeah, these are your signings, make them work. By the way, you're going to get sacked when it doesn't work.
I mean, you mentioned defensive record there. I had a look there from those 19 games, and this included 3 in a row, including against Celtic, 8 clean sheets. You know, it worked a lot of the time in terms of defensively. And like we said, when your strikers are injured, you sell your best attacking player and don't replace them, it's a bit hard to then expect the team to be creating and scoring goals. I think his hands have been tied. It's a bit concerning for me, the direction we seem to be going in. Ron Gordon spoke at the AGM and said that he was very happy and very proud of the transfer window that we had in January. That was a red flag back then, and it's concerning. Like if some non-football people are overseeing the football operations, and like you said, you know, this 5 games, David Gray, I'm sure he'll do a decent enough job seeing it out until the end of the season. But in terms of the recruitment, Maloney had already spoke about this rebuild and making plans for the summer, and you know, so that is truly up in the air and start, unless it's all, the head coach is going to come in and it's Ian Gordon that's doing it all. That's back at square one. And do we bring somebody in the summer when it's a bit later, when these things are not getting... It's a strange one. Yeah.
It really is. We've also heard Maloney saying he didn't get the signings he wanted in January. So this has maybe put him and the Gordons at a little bit of loggerhead for it already. But a couple of weeks ago, Maloney came away and said, I've already spoken to 2 free signings that we're wanting to make in the summer. Positive talk. That now chucks that up in the air. As well. Is this somebody being thrust upon Maloney, or somebody that he'd identified? How far along are these talks? And as you said, square one.
Yeah. I mean, where do we go for here? In terms of, like, you know, David Gray's there for the end of the season. Is he a realistic candidate?
Nah, I can't see it. I don't think. Obviously, kind of massive favourite with the fans for obvious reasons. I can't see him getting the gig, but does Ron Gordon change his model? He said in the statement there, went for something young and exciting, didn't work, so we're going to have to go to somebody old and boring as shit. There you are.
Well, I mean, Roy Hodgson will probably be finishing up with Watford, so, you know,
that's
the complete opposite.
Go and get Big Sam off of Burnley before they make that decision.
It's a strange one. The club seems like a mess behind the scenes. Like, I know this model worked. Like I said, I compared it earlier. This model worked for Chelsea. This seems scatterbrain to me, and concerning. I think.
Can I just say, what on earth is the payoff going to be for sacking a full management team within 150 days?
Unless they had like a 6-month sort of thing, like get out clause, like they get them to, like, if it doesn't work out in 6 months, we can release you for cheaper, and maybe they're we don't know, but like, because I remember when who was it, when we were going for Hecky and Applebottom was I'm sure it was him, was meant to be coming in, and he wasn't happy with the fact that there was a 6-month thing there where we could get rid of him for cheaper. So that is something the club has explored in the past. Maybe there was something like that, and that's why we've got rid of him now, because if we keep him for longer it'll be cheaper. But you've got to be patient with these things. You can't be wowed by an exciting manager like Maloney and, like, say what he wanted to do, see glimpses of it, and not back him, and not take into consideration the extenuating circumstances. We've been critical of the style. Like, and I think this has probably been Maloney's downfall. He was too stubborn. He stuck to this 3-4-3, never changed it up when, you know, we're doing a big summer rebuild anyway. If you're going to be bringing in new players, and all of these players aren't going to be here, and you've got players, for example, like at the weekend, Paul McGinn, decent player, but not suited to that style of play. We've seen it with the first goal. If you're so adamant and sticking to that style and trying to force your own style onto these players, things like this are going to happen. Bad runs are going to happen. He probably should have worked with the tools he had, rebuilt in the summer, and then started to enforce this style of play. Yeah,
very much so. And also, it started also well. 1-0 win over Aberdeen. Even in the first kind of 20-25 minutes, we started to see, oh, this is short, sharp passing football. This is great. The follow-up game against, was it Dundee United away, 3-1?
3-1, yeah.
Yeah. That was some of the best football. Day. Yeah, some of the best football seen Hibs play this season. They're thinking, oh, we're on to an absolute winner here. And from there, it just seems to have fallen away. We knew that Jack Ross was sacked because of style of football and results. Maloney's another victim of this.
Yeah, like I say, the results have not been good enough. Let's not shy away from that. There will be some people that will be happy about this because the results haven't been good enough. As mentioned on the podcast last night, 2 months ago today was the last League One, the Ross County game, and even then I was critical of that game, which my dad and Dave had a go at me for because we didn't create clear-cut chances. We scored 2 goals from distance. You know, we can't say about, we limited Hearts and they only scored, a couple of crackers from distance, and then, like, say, that game against Ross County, score a couple of crackers, and then, aye. But, like, there was a lot of warning signs there, very concerning about the results. Like we said, like 2022 Hibs has been awful in terms of an attacking. Like, there has been a few clean sheets. There was those 3-0 nils, one against Celtic, but, like, we've not been scoring goals, and 1 win in 13. At the end of the day, football's about winning football games.
Yeah. With regards to my kind of time as a Hibs fan, it's up there with the days of Jim Duffy and the days of Terry Butcher. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be losing too much sleep tonight over Maloney's departure. I wish him well. The guy could have a little bit of a one-record pony when it came to post-match comments, but always seemed like a nice guy. I don't have any qualms about him, but we need to move on. But I hope we do it quickly. We need to get something in place so we don't have another staggered summer. And remember, season tickets are still on sale, people. We need to kind of get people committed in the door quickly.
Yeah. Like I say, we'll kind of wrap up this. It's been a short first reaction. We've got work to get back to, unfortunately. But it's like I say, let us know your reaction to the fact that Shaun Maloney's gone. Are you happy about it? Are you shocked? What's your thoughts on the new sort of style of ownership by Ron Gordon, it seems, in terms of managers? Let us know your thoughts on all that. We'll be back later in the week when there's more information on this, potentially with some names that have been linked with it as well. More reaction to continue coming at HFC Talk. But yeah, like I say, I will finish up. Stuart, you feeling better? I've not had a chance to ask you. You were in your bed last night, missed the podcast. Are we just skiving and avoiding talking about the Hearts game?
No, I wish I was.
Sounds fine to me, you skiver.
I wish I was. No, I've had some horrible kind of bug thing, and it just kind of absolutely wallops me yesterday. Right. But it could have been worse. I could have been Maloney getting the Peruvian guillotine this morning. So I've got to say that's not a bad one. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed your company at the game on Saturday. Great to meet your dad as well, mate.
Yes, I said that in the pod. Like I say, when you listen to it, I'm sure you will. Like I say, you can listen to that podcast is still there.
Do you want to plug the pod? I'm not on once more. Like,
yes, I'm done it
4 times. You've heard it here first, people. It's a dream team. Gavin and Stuart Wilson, not related, for the new Hibs managers.
No, like I say, I had a great day regardless of the result, because, like I say, sitting with you and your dad, going to meet my dad with a game, which doesn't happen very often. He kind of golfs a lot more, and he's been like 6 or 7 games, which could have been a lot more. And like I say, it's the first time I've sat with my Hamden, so I took some positives from the game. I did take some positives from the performance, but obviously Ron Gordon didn't, and Shaun Maloney's gone. So, like I say, let us know your reaction to that. We'll finish up there. Thanks again, Stuart.
Thanks very much for having me, Gav. Cheers.
We'll speak to you soon.